Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spill the Tea Radio, where we interview awesome singer-songwriters and those who influence their lives. Spill the Tea Radio explores the journey, creativity, and inspiration behind the songs. My next guest gets right down into our blood and bones, an award-winning singer with roots in Canada and Spain. This well-traveled artist had a groundbreaking year playing Massey Hall as part of the Women's Blues Revue. Nominated for a Maple Blues Award and releasing her third album, A Sound in the Dark. She is an artist who will stop you in your tracks with a powerful voice and well-crafted, thoughtful lyrics. So, let's spill the tea with Sandra Bouza. Welcome, Sandra.
Thank you very much.
First of all, let's get to know you a little bit. First of all, what got you interested in music? You've got this great talent, and did you ever come from a musical family? How did you get interested?
Yeah, there was music on both sides. My mom, who was like my direct influence, she played guitar and she sang to us all the time. She also always had the radio on. So we grew up in Toronto. There's a radio station called 1050 Chum. I don't know if you remember 1050 Chum.
I
So that
remember
was
1050 Chum, yes.
that was always on. And my mom would drill us. If a song came on, my sister and I would be sitting in the back seat. My mom would be like, "Who is this? The Beatles? What album?" Like she would grill us. Who is this? Hermits. Like we knew all of these songs. And it's so that's I grew up with that. And she also had like a very good record collection. So I remember sitting on the floor in our old house. I remember lying on the hardwood and listening, just picking a record and listening to, and she had great, like very a big variety. So she had like musicals, West Side Story, Gustav Holst's Planets, like classical, but she was a big folky. So I really my like original music education came from Joni Mitchell, Neil Young, Peter Paul and Mary, Gordon Lightfoot.
Now, were you one of those high school band nerds? Were you in the high school band?
Yeah, that a little bit, but yes, I was. I played the trombone.
Of course you did.
You can't get nerdier than that, right? No way you
That
can pretend to be a cool kid while walking home with a bass trombone.
a bass drum. I was just gonna say
Yeah, yeah.
you could never. It wasn't an instrument that you could hide under your coat or anything like that.
I
Everybody
could,
knew.
or leave in your locker like the flute girls.
Like
Nope.
the flute girls. What's it like to busk on the streets of Vancouver?
I love busking. It was like paid rehearsal. And it really like if you made anything and at the end of the day, I would always set a goal of $2. So I never didn't make that goal, right? Usually I'd make pretty good money. And then I made a CD, I recorded a CD out there, so I would sell those too. But it was just a great experience. You meet so many interesting people. Like I still have people that I talked to that I met when I was busking on the street. Like, it's just a really interesting thing. I mean, and it's funny too, because I remember when I'd be walking just all over the city and I'd look for a good spot. And I found some of my favorite spots. But I remember I'd be looking for a good spot. And every time I came to a spot and I thought this one looks good, good traffic, good position, good whatever, across the street from a bar, like whatever I needed, I'd find the spot and then I'd stop. And I remember I would start, unpacking and people would start looking at me like, what's she doing? And I always got these butterflies. And I always felt like those butterflies were a good sign.
What's your favorite part about being a musician?
I'd say being able to relate to people. I think like writing a song that I write for whatever reason that is being pulled, and then somebody comes up to me and says like this song really connected to me. I needed it at this time because I was going through XYZ, and it might be a completely different interpretation or different reason or different topic or whatever it is, but the fact that something about the lyrics and the melody and the atmosphere of whatever is created there pulls that person and draws them in, and
Mhm.
we have this shared human experience, and that's through music, right? Like I think music is magical in that kind of way.
What's your least favorite thing about being a musician?
Also a good question, David. um really the hustling. I just want to play music, and it's
Yeah.
the way things are in this era, like you have to be. I'm very lucky now I have a manager. I've been doing this for a long time, but I have a manager who's amazing and he's really supportive and he does a lot, but you still have to do a lot, like booking and just schmoozing generally, just and I like conversing and talking. So that part I'm okay with. That part I think I'm pretty natural with, but
Hmm.
as soon as it becomes a business thing, I just sort of I clam up a little bit, and it's I'm not great with the business side, and the hustling and the PR, that kind of stuff, like the social media. Like if it wasn't for my music career, I would throw my smartphone in the lake along with Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. It's I just want to play music because I love getting on a stage and playing music and connecting with an audience that's listening. Like the one of the best things about how where my career has come to now is that I can play to audiences that are listening.
Hmm.
Because like every musician has like cut their teeth playing in loud bars, cover bands, that kind of thing. Which I mean, I love singing in general. I love the visceral pleasure of singing and writing music. But what I really, really, what makes me want to keep doing this is when I play to, doesn't even matter the size of the room, 20 people, 15 people, but that they're all listening. And I can
Hmm.
talk about this song means this, and they're all listening and they're all connected. Like that's a magical feeling too.
If you could have any other artist open a show for you, who would it be?
Open for me.
Open for you.
See, there's artists that I love, but like I could never dream of asking them to open for me.
Go ahead, dream. The
Oh,
magical, the magical music genie has come down and granted you a wish.
the Teskey brothers.
Okay.
I love the Teskey brothers. I mean, my dream is to open for them, but if it was flipped, oh my God, that would be crazy. Thank you, musical genie.
What are your favorite venues to perform in? You mentioned, if you've got 20 people that are listening, do you prefer the smaller, more intimate venues where you've got 100, maybe 200 people, or do you like the bigger venues?
Well, I did play Massey Hall this past November.
Yeah,
That was pretty amazing.
it's a
So
great,
that's
it's a great
that's the
venue.
it's an incredible venue. I mean, that's the biggest venue I've played, and that was a mind-blowing experience. So I mean, I hadn't really had the experience of playing a huge venue like that before. So like it really to me again, it's not even so much the venue as the crowd. Because if
Mhm.
I mean I've no desire to make it to play stadiums, but if I was playing a stadium, sorry, I'd still want the same level of connection.
Hmm. Many singers, songwriters, performers, you start out doing covers of other people's work until you build your own repertoire. What's your favorite song to cover?
Depends. If I'm solo, it's 4 and 20 by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. If I'm with a band, it's our we do on my new album, I do a cover of Sundown by Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, yeah, love the song. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a pretty groovy version of that. That's super fun.
What's the best piece of advice another musician has given you so far?
Don't take yourself so seriously.
Hmm. And how's that working out for you?
When I remember it, great. It's just that what I was exactly what I was talking about earlier. Going up there, we're gonna make some mistakes, and it's gonna be fine. Nobody's gonna die. Like I have had people that I've worked with who have been um so fixated on a mistake or fixated on something. Like the end of the night,
Yeah.
they want to just really go over every mistake that was made and like hammer it home and analyze it. Like I have no interest in doing that. I have an interest in putting on a good show and having a good time and respecting the people I work with and being respected. But like, we're not we're musicians. We play
Mhm.
music. We're not saving lives here. Like I'm very open about, I know but I'm very open about the surgery that I had last week. Like I had surgery for endometriosis and it was a 4.5 hour surgery. And I think about like, if I have a bad day on stage, I mess up some words or like I miss something. But if that
Everybody
surgeon
goes home.
has a bad day at work,
Yeah.
right? Like
It,
what, I mean, so you cannot take yourself serious. Like I think music is important, don't get me wrong, but you just can't take yourself seriously.
when I ask people what qualities make a great songwriter, some people say it's a command of the language, it's an ability to tell stories. What do you think is a great quality of a songwriter?
I think it is creating that atmosphere. Because I think, music, the melody and lyrics are two separate things, right? So being able to combine them and create an atmosphere where they work together, where they are, you know, where they draw people in, I think that's something. And I know when I was younger, I tried to write these like super overly complicated songs,
Hmm.
just trying to be more than I was. Um, but I think when you find whatever works for you and your own style, I think that's again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, just finding your own sincerity.
Let's get into one of the songs that Sandra wrote. This song was written on Hall's Island while Sandra was on an artist residency. The island was private and quiet when the silence was broken. So let's take a listen to singer-songwriter Sandra Bouza and her song, A Sound in the Dark.
Everything I've done, everything I've placed too high a consequence on, everything I've run to and from, before the gun has even gone off, before the players choose their number one. Oh, yeah. What you gonna, what you gonna, what you gonna, what you gonna do now? What you gonna do to come in expectations to ever really see things through? Yeah, don't stop if you got something left to say. Don't stop if you got something to give away. Baby, maybe the world is just waiting on just a minute of your time. Yeah, yeah. That's what you're gonna do. Yeah. Oh, that's what you're gonna, what you gonna, what you gonna do now. I turn my back on one more mountain. I let a sound in the dark drive me back to shore. And I was happy floating on my back, conversing with the stars. But I let that sound give up my conversation to the dark. Oh, yeah. What you gonna, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Keep living through this half-life and hope that the other half catches up to you. Yeah. Don't stop if you got something left to say. Don't stop if you got something to give away. Baby, maybe the world is just waiting on just a minute of your time. Well, there will be mountains ahead, but you can't climb them all. Not without knowing that sometimes you're gonna fall. You can get back in the water, converse with the stars, knowing there will always be sounds in the dark. Don't stop if you got something left to say. Don't stop if you got something to give away. Baby, maybe the world is just waiting on just a minute of your time. Just a minute of just a minute of your time. Oh yeah. Oh, that's what you gonna do. Just what you gonna do now? Oh no. Just what you gonna do?
That was A Sound in the Dark by Sandra Bouza. Sandra, when I listen to that song, I mean, I get chills. It's such an amazing vocal. We'll, tell the audience, go listen to that one over and over again. What was the inspiration to write that song? What was going through your mind, your body, when you came up with this lightning bolt of an idea?
So this one, I call this one my skinny dipping song.
Oh, okay.
Because I was on this island in Halliburton, and it was just for 10 days. It was an artist residency. You get 10 days to just be on this island for just 10 days, just writing music or doing whatever art you do. And I remember one night I decided it's gorgeous up there. It's on Koshlong Lake, and I decided I was going to go swimming. And like, who doesn't love a good skinny dip, right? And I'm alone on this island. Like, perfect. So I decided I was going to go into the water. So I go down to the dock and I slip into the water and I swim out a little bit. And it's beautiful. Like, it's a clear night. It's gorgeous. You could see all the stars, and up there especially, you could see all of the constellations. It was gorgeous. And then I heard this sound, I don't even remember what it was. It was the smallest sound, but I remember hearing a sound and getting freaked out. And I ran out of the water and I ran back up to the cabin. And I remember I got back up to the cabin and I thought, God damn it. Like, it was probably like a fish jumping or something. I mean, you're on an island by yourself. So I decided to write a song about it, because then I started thinking about all the other moments that fear has prevented me from enjoying things that I've done or haven't done because I was afraid of the outcome, like fear of failure, fear of success, fear of rejection.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of these things in my life that just I hadn't tried because I was scared of really nothing but possibilities. And so I wrote this song. And this is one that I took back to Ross, and we worked it out together to co-write, because I wrote it on the island that day, but then I took it back to Ross and he made a couple changes. Like, we added a pre-chorus, that kind of thing, just like formatting. But yeah, the song I wrote that night. And then the next night I went back out and I went swimming, and it was a beautiful night.
And you didn't hear that sound again?
I did not. Or maybe I did. I don't know. It was just a fish.
Just block it out.
There were no axe murderers on the island.
So tell us what's coming up for you, Sandra. Where are you going to be? What have you got? Gigs coming up? You've got new releases, concert. What's happening?
April 20th, I'm at the Moonshine Cafe in Oakville. If you haven't been there, it's a super great venue. Beautiful, beautiful little space. March 4th, I'm playing at the Ancaster Mill with Mike Friedman. That's coming up pretty soon.
And if people want to know more about where you're going to be, is there a website they can visit?
Yes, sandrabouza.com. That's Bouza, sandrabouza.com. You can also just Google me. I'm everywhere on all the social media.
And we have been in conversation with Sandra Bouza. Sandra, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.